In this video, you'll learn how to configure a text input component to create a simple feedback form for your app. Previously, you learned that you can use React Native's text input component to create text input boxes. So, let's put that into action and create a feedback form for the Little Lemon mobile app. I've created a new component called feedback form, which does not yet have any functions, but it does contain a styles component that holds the styles I will be using in the form. The first thing I need to do is import the text input component, as this is the main component that I'll be using. Next, I'll write a return statement, inside of which I'll render a scroll view component. The feedback form will be inside of this component. I want a heading shown, so I'll write a text component to display the words, "How was your visit to Little Lemon?" and add some styling to it that comes from the styles component. I'll also apply some styling to the scroll view itself. I then want to place some informative text beneath the heading, so I'll do that with another text component and some different styling. I now have the basic layout set up, so let's start adding some text input boxes. The first one will be for the user to enter their first name. To create that, I'll add a text input component beneath the last text component and pass to it another existing style. This style is called input in the styles menu, and it defines such parameters as height, padding, font size, border color, and more. Next, I'll assign a value for the input box and also give it the prop onChangeText. The value will be first name, while onChangeText will be a method called onChangeFirstName. Neither of these variables have been created yet, so let's make that the next step. I'll start with the first name variable. Keep in mind that I'll also use the useState hook to keep track of the local state here. So I'll add the method onChangeFirstName and then plug in the useState hook with an empty default state value. So what does this do? Well, first name is the local state, but when the user starts typing in the first input box, it triggers the onChangeText method, which in turn calls the onChangeFirstName method. In other words, whatever is typed will become the new local state. To verify that the app works as expected, let's give it a try in the iOS emulator. So I have the header text, the informational text, and the text input box. When I click on the input box, it brings up the native iOS keyboard, and whatever I type appears in the box. Perfect! So now I'll add two more text boxes, one for the user's last name and one for inputting a message. These will be done in a similar manner as before, so I can copy and paste the first name variable declaration twice, and then rename the variables and methods to last name and onChangeLastName, and then message and onChangeMessage. Note that you can have an unlimited number of local states within the same component, so it's the best way to keep track of changes. In the scroll view component, I'll copy and paste the existing text input component twice, and then change the value and onChangeText props to correspond with my two new variables. So now I have three text inputs configured, one for the first name, one for the last name, and one for the message. And each one of them are tracked by the useState hook. Let's check these updates in an Android emulator this time. I have the header, info text, and three input boxes as expected. Clicking on a box pulls up the slightly different Android keyboard, but functionally the behavior is the same across all platforms. So I'll enter an example first name, last name, and a message. Let's type "Great," and that's it. Your form is complete and ready to use. In this video, you've learned how to configure a text input component to create a feedback form for the Little Lemon restaurant app. You made it an element of a scroll view component and also applied a useState hook for keeping track of local state.